Today, somebody woke up from their nap and he's a little fussy. He just wants mom, huh? Mom and fruit snacks. Okay, today we're gonna start in cat and cow. So come to tabletop, all fours. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Okay. I apologize. He was in playing with some toys, so with his fruit snacks. We might see him in a minute. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so starting cat and cow, tabletop position. If you remember, our cow is this one, and our cat is this one. So inhale on our cow, reaching up, looking up. Exhale on our cat, squeezing all of that air out. So come to your breath here. Start breathing deep, inhale, and exhale, let it all go. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Okay, we're in chapter 5, and I absolutely love this chapter. I just love its message, and we'll get into that. So, at the very beginning of this chapter, at the very top, I wrote, "What things lead to happiness?" And we'll get into why I wrote that. But I want you guys to kind of think about that as we talk about it, and then we'll bring it all together at the end. And on this chapter also, I really relied on another YouTube channel called Don't Miss This. It's with Emily Freeman and David Butler, and they teach together. They teach a lot of the gospel. And their videos are amazing each week. So I really relied on their video this week with this chapter specifically. So if you have the desire to go watch them, they're awesome. So I just wanted to preface that. And so anyway, okay, so let's dive into this. This is where Nephi takes his family away from Laman and Lemuel, and it kind of separates the people who hearken to God and those who don't. So Nephi took his family, Zoram and his family, remember he's the servant from Laban, whom they killed in Jerusalem for the plates. Sam, his elder brother, and his family. Jacob and Joseph are his younger brothers, and his sisters and their family. And then it just says all those who would come and hearken to God with us and hearken unto my words. And they call themselves the Nephites. Okay, from here, bring your toes down, your heels are up, and come into downward dog. Engage that core, and just stretch here for a minute. Welcome your body to movement today. So they call themselves the Nephites. So Nephites are those who hearken to God. And then the Lamanites are those with Laman and Lemuel, and the people who do not hearken to God. And it sounds like they're pretty far from each other. It says they traveled for the space of many days. So now we have Nephites and Lamanites. And the Nephites talk about how the Lord is with them, and the Lord has helped them through this time. And they also brought their plates of brass, the liahona, and the sword of Laban. And these, I thought it was interesting because these are now their precious things that they've now reacquired. Oh. If you guys didn't just hear oldest daughter saying, I love you, to my youngest. So cute, I love when they do that. Okay, so lift the right leg in the air, come to three-legged dog. This is called three-legged dog. Bring that right hip back down to the ground a little bit, square out those hips. In fact, here, let's just stack those hips. So this is called squaring hips. This is called stacking your hips. And you can stretch that hip a lot further. So stack your hips and just stretch that leg. Feel that hip open, stretch that leg up. And just feel that for a minute. So they prosper in this new land exceedingly. And then Nephi goes on to teach his people to build a temple, and he taught them how to work with their hands. And I love that so much. Okay, now bring that right leg in between both of your hands, because I immediately thought of building the boat. And the Lord is probably like, okay, build this boat, but it won't be the last thing you build. You'll get to teach so many people how to build this boat, or build a temple in the future. And this will just be the beginning, which is so cool that God is just, he knows, right? What we talked about 2 days ago, God, he already knows all the things. He has a plan for everything. So they build this beautiful temple and they work hard with their hands. And then it goes back to talking about the Lamanites. And this is where I really, really relied on Emily Freeman and David Butler. Okay, come down onto your forearms if you can. If this feels great, stay there. If you can come down a little bit further, just open those hips a little bit more. This is called lizard pose. You kind of feel like a lizard. If it feels good, you can kind of stretch that leg out and really, really open those hips. But in verse 21, it says, and he had caused the cursing to come upon them, meaning the Lamanites. Yea, even a sore cursing because of their iniquity. For behold, they had hardened their hearts against them, that they had become like unto a flint. Therefore they were white and exceedingly fair and delightsome, and they might not be enticing unto the people of the Lord. The Lord God did cause a skin of blackness to come upon them. So it talks about, we look at that thinking, okay, black skin, and that's a sensitive subject. A lot of people bring that right leg back and come back into downward dog. Breathe here for a minute. Kind of stretch out those legs, feel those hips. You can feel the hip difference between the one we just opened and our left, right? Can you feel that? Okay, bring that left leg up, three-legged dog, and stack those hips and just stretch that hip. Okay, so this is where I really relied on don't miss this. So they talk about skin of blackness, and on Don't Miss This, they talk about how that can also mean skins of clothes. Bring that leg through both of your hands. It can also mean a negativity of darkness. It doesn't necessarily mean their legit skin. And then they referenced Luke 11:34. That says, the light of the body is the eye, wherefore when thine eye is single, thy whole body is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, thy body is also full of darkness. So I really think that that's what they're talking about. I think they're talking about the light of the body. You can see the light in their eyes, the light of Christ, right? We've heard that over and over. They have this light of Christ with the Nephites, and the Lamanites don't necessarily have that. They have this kind of dark shadow amongst among themselves. And I'm sure without Nephi and without God, okay, bring that left arm to the inside of that leg, and if you can, come down to your forearms. Okay, so come back into downward dog. 27 says, and it came to pass that we lived after the manner of happiness. Okay, bring that right leg back. One more time, three-legged dog. And this time, let's not stack our hips. Let's square our hips. So bring that right hip back down, kind of near the ground. Keep those hips square, and then flex your foot so your heel is going straight back. They lived after the manner of happiness. This is where I got that at the very beginning, right? What things lead to happiness? So then I took that, and let's be real for a minute right now. Bring that right leg down, left leg back up. I have struggled recently with just being a little bit quick to anger, especially with my kids. And it's been a little bit of a struggle. I don't really know why. I think winter isn't helping. I get some seasonal depression every year about this time. So I think that's part of it. Going to California last week really helped because we got some good sunshine. But so I really took that, bring that left leg back down, come into downward dog. So I've been really studying that, and that's going to be my whole mantra for this whole week. Okay, from here, let's just bring our knees down to the ground and come into hero pose. And from here, just bring your right arm up and over. Let's stretch our triceps a little bit. Anyway, so that's going to be my whole mantra this entire week of what leads our family specifically and myself to feel utter and complete happiness. And I wrote this really big on our whiteboard in our kitchen. And whenever I think of something that really leads to happiness, I write it on my board. And I'm going to kind of shift and hopefully kind of really focus on that this week and shift my mindset to that. So with that in mind, I took a green crayon. I don't know if you can see this. Probably not. It's kind of far away. But I took a colored crayon to my scriptures. And at the top where I wrote, what things lead to happiness, I colored that all in green. And then I read the entire chapter again, and I highlighted every single thing in there that led to Nephi's happiness. And there's a lot of really cool things in there. Like my very first one in verse 6, it came to pass that I, Nephi, I took my family. That made them very happy that he took his family and those who believed in the Lord and to hearken unto the Lord to this new place. And they called it Nephi, the people of Nephi, and they were named the Nephites. And that's all in green. And, working with their hands, building a temple, the work of the Lord, just so many, they kept the records. They brought these precious things like the liahona and their plates of brass. They were obedient, and that made them happy. They were grateful, and that made them happy. So many things that just made them so happy. And I'm sure it would have been a hard time, but they did not focus on the hard. They didn't focus on, in my situation, getting quick to anger. They focused on what made them happy. So that's my goal this week. And if you want to do it with me, let's focus on what leads our family and our lives to happiness. So I will leave that with you this week. I love this community. I love all of you who have joined me and have, so many of you are doing this with your kids, and that just makes me so happy. The light in me honors and loves the light within each one of you. Namaste.